Hi there everyone, it's Desdemona from the Celestial Coven. We're a DID system that does readings here on YouTube, and today we're going to be doing a reading for What is Growing for You, this Ostara. So this is going to cover the time period between Ostara and Beltane this year. This one is not a timeless reading. We will have other timeless readings and have other timeless readings, but this one is for a specific time period to see what is growing for you and what you can expect during this season. So, without further ado, let us get into the pile selection. So, for pile 1, we have this Amethyst here. For pile 2, we have this Carnelian. I believe it's Carnelian anyway. Correct me if I'm wrong if somebody knows that this is something else. For pile 3, we have this piece of amber. And for pile 4, we have this piece of Lapis Lazuli. So feel free to pause now if you like, so you can focus on the piles and see which one calls to you, and I will see you in your readings. Hi there, pile 1. So for those of you who chose this lovely piece of amethyst, this is going to be your reading for what is growing for you, this Ostara up until Beltane. So how this is going to work is we'll lay out all the cards, and then I will tell you how they all tie together and what they all mean. So first, for what is growing for you, the main theme of what's growing for you, this Ostara up until Beltane. Ooh, true love come to me. True love shall come to me as I do will, so mote it be. That is beautiful, pile 1. Alright, so next, for what is in the light for you regarding this growth, this Ostara up until Beltane. Now, when I say in the light, I don't mean good or evil, right or wrong, those kinds of concepts. I mean things, when I mean light and darkness, I mean that the light is what we can see, it is what is in the open, it is what is most acceptable to us, and what is in the shadow or in the darkness is that which is more hidden, more under the surface, things we might not want to know or might be putting off knowing about. So they're not necessarily good or bad things in either sense, but they will give us some information about what you will have out in the open that you will know and what you might not be aware of. So these 3 cards are going to be for what is in the light regarding this growth in this upcoming season. So we have the 6 of spirals. Okay. We have the 5 of stones. Right. See if I can get these in a good spot here. And we have the 4 of spirals. Okay. And for what's in the shadow, or in the darkness, for you regarding this growth, pile 1 is going to be 3 of swords, the lovers, interesting, and, let's see if I can get these to fit here, the judgment card. Ooh, okay. And lastly, for what advice you will have, we'll pull those at the end, but I'll leave these here for now. Pile 1, it is very clear that what is growing for you this upcoming season has to do with love. Now, for most of you, this will have to do with romantic love. For some of you, if you are aromantic or otherwise not interested in romantic relationships, this is about self-love and love of the self. So with that in mind, what's mainly growing for you is true, authentic love. Love that comes from your higher self, your higher being, that is in alignment with who you are authentically. And that's going to be very beautiful for you in this upcoming season. So how this is all going to come to pass, we'll see with this spread, and we'll kind of pull into this. So for what's in the light, now this is going to be things that are going to be a little bit more obvious to you as this season commences. Now, one of those things, I am seeing that there will be a lot of success and recognition. Your achievements will be noticeable to others around you. In fact, if you're drawing in a partner or partners, this, or if you're, currently in a relationship or not seeking new partners, this will be, whoever your interests are will really recognize your achievements in your life. And this can be you if this is about self-love. Like, you will recognize your own achievements in your life. But your achievements and the things that you have, built for yourself, the things that you shine proudly, the things that you have created, these things are really going to draw attention this coming Ostara up until Beltane. One thing I am seeing here with this Five of Stones is that while this is going to be a very abundant time period for love for you, whether that be love from others or to others, or love of the self, when it comes to the material world, like the physical, right? When it comes to maybe finances or, the more like health in some cases, although I'm not going to give health advice here. That's for professionals in the health fields. But what I will say is that in the material world, you may feel or be tempted to feel a sort of lack. Like, you might feel like there's not enough right now. It's not that. This is a minor arcana, so nothing drastic is going to happen, right, with that. Like, nothing terrible is going to happen to your finances if you're worried about that. But your abundance this coming time period is likely to be in other areas that aren't financial or career-based or home-based or anything that's particularly, well, I won't say home-based yet because you do the four spirals, which I'll get to, but in the material world is not where your abundance lies. So I wouldn't advise chasing too much physical things between Ostara and Beltane. I would focus more on the emotional and connection side of things this coming season, but we'll get into more advice in a little while. This Four of Spirals is a lovely card to have. Now, normally in most decks, it's the Four of Wands. It's normally about celebration and parties and having a great time, but this one's a little different, and I'll get into that. So this one is really, to me, about comfort and security and feeling just happy with one's environment. And I think that, though it seems that, the material is going to be not as abundant as some other time periods perhaps, this particular area where your home life will still be safe. It will still be secure, and it can still provide a lot of happiness and a lot of growth. And so a lot of this also may come from something at home. So for those of you who live with partners, and your romantic life at home is going to flourish in this coming season. Now, for those of you who either don't live with partners or don't have partners or aren't seeking partners, this growth in love or self-love is happening primarily and most obviously in the home or around the home. So if it's self-love, it may be during times of self-reflection, especially on your accomplishments, where you will find more self-love. Where if it's love with another person, this could be a date at someone's home, or it could be something where you are meeting someone from home, like you meet them online, and so you're at home when you meet them. If you are if you are with someone and not seeking, but you're also not living with them, you're going to have a lot of great connections with them, even when you're apart from them. So while you are both at home, when you communicate with each other, either through messages or, or phone calls or however you like to, you will have some very romantic times come out of this. So that is what I'm seeing for what's most obvious and what's in the light for this growth that's coming to you in this season. Now, as far as what's in the shadow, now this is things that you don't see, remember. These aren't necessarily all bad things or anything like that. They are things that might be under the surface or might not be as obvious to you. And so first and foremost, there's this Three of Swords. And the Three of Swords is a very difficult card. I won't sugarcoat that. It is very painful. Now, it could be that for many of you, you have had a lot of hurt in your lives, right? Like, especially in relationships. For those of you who are in or seeking relationships, you have had a lot of hurt and a lot of pain. And this could also have been from close family who is supposed to love us too, that this pain came from. And the Three of Swords, though, also is about healing. And so I think what's under the surface for you with this here when it comes to love, now this is self-love especially, but also if it has to do with romance. You are going to be undergoing a period of healing under the surface that you might not be completely aware of. But this growth that's happening in love is helping to heal this. So, you might not be aware of that at first. There may be challenges that arise perhaps with your connections or with, memories of old connections or old people in our lives that come to the surface in light of this growth that's coming in. And that might have to be worked on actively during this period. So, just keep that in mind as you go forward, that there may be some healing processes going on and maybe doing some sort of shadow work or whatever you like to do to self-reflect, to uncover where that pain comes from so that you can help it to heal as you go through this time period. Now, also what's under the surface here is this Lover's card, and this is kind of beautiful. I do see for those of you who have love coming in that this has to do with a secret admirer. That's why it's in the shadow. Someone who you can't see or don't. Maybe you know them, maybe you don't, but you don't know that they like you yet, but they do. For those of you who are not seeking, who are in partnerships already, this is going to be something that is uncovered between you and your partner or partners that has not come to light yet. This could be a good or bad thing. It could be neither. But this is something that is unknown. So you could learn something new about your partners. Or you could, discover a new thing to do together that will be lovely. Or a new place that you like to go together. You could also, in some cases, I will say, for some, this could be something you find out about your partner or one of your partners, which is not an easy thing and will need to be worked on or addressed in some manner, whichever is healthy for you. So, if you have partners or a partner, check in with them over this time period and see how they're doing. Connect with your relationship. And, try to communicate as openly as possible with your partner. Encourage them to do the same. Show them that you're safe to communicate to. And they will feel safe communicating to you. So that is one thing I'm seeing for that. For those of you that this has to do with self-love, the key to unlocking this, as we're talking about reflecting on your achievements and the things that you've accomplished in your life and things you've created. That will, of course, help you to find more self-love. This also means that there is something that is yet hidden from you in this regard, and this has to do with, I'm hearing that this has to do more with the decision-making aspect of the lovers. That there may be something where you have difficulty trusting your own decisions, and that might be giving you some difficulty in finding love for yourself, because if we can't trust ourselves, it's hard to love ourselves. And if you feel like you can't trust yourself to make decisions, then that would be challenging. So I would find out, if this is you, what is causing you to feel like you can't make these decisions. Like what is built up to this? Who or what has made you feel this way? And does it actually reflect reality? When you think of your accomplishments in your life, can't you think of some ways in which you made some very good decisions and you did some very amazing things? So if that's true, which I'm sure it is, because everyone has done some amazing things in their lives, I'm sure you have too. And if you think of those things, you'll see that you can trust yourself to make decisions. You just have to give yourself the environment and the trust to do so, to be able to prepare effectively, to know what you're doing. Think about what made those good decisions. Like, how did you make those decisions that were good? And how can you use that information to make decisions in the future? So for this Judgment card, when it comes to this growth in love, this is in the shadow. Whatever is going on with this growth is a big deal. First of all, because you have these two major arcana here. And the fact that it's a big deal may be the fact that it may be in the shadow for you. You might not be aware of how big a deal this will be in the course of your overall life. But it will be a very big deal, because judgment has to do with our higher calling. It has to do with, if you believe in these sorts of things, what our soul came here to do. And if you don't, like what we would choose for our life mission, right? Like what we would ultimately find fulfillment in throughout the course of our lives. So with this Judgment card, if this is a connection coming in, or one you already have, or ones you already have, these are very important in some way or another, whether it's the lessons you'll learn or the just the experiences you'll have. Whether or not these connections last a lifetime or not, they may not, but either way, they're going to be very important for your growth, your love, your self-love, and just how that evolves over the course of your life. And I think that has a lot to do with this healing as well, because like I said, this will help heal some of this pain. And in doing so, will help you navigate further relationships and connection to yourself over the course of your life, which is a big deal. And that's amazing for you, Pile 1. And again, if this has to do with your self-love for you undergoing this healing process and you focusing on this growth in your self-love will impact and better the rest of your life. So this is amazing for you, Pile 1. So let's get some advice for you now. So for your advice, we have cleansing waters. Purification activates vibrant life force. And wise leader. You are a beacon for others. Wow, it's lovely. Cleansing is the process of releasing and letting go of the things that don't serve us, and healing and making ourselves more authentic, more pure. When I say pure, I mean pure of heart, pure of authenticity, pure of self, meaning we are ourselves truly. And this is advising you to engage in some sort of cleansing. I would recommend, maybe spending time in or around water, doing rituals that help cleanse you or your environment. I would also recommend just, getting rid of any old clutter or things you don't need anymore. I'd recommend taking stock of what you're doing in your life, how many things you're engaged in, whether it's too much or too little. If you're overwhelmed, it might be good to strip back some activities or put them until a later time. Like if you're enrolled in like a class here and like that, and you're also, teaching something over here, and you're also, doing like 2 or 3 businesses or something like that. If you have a bunch of things going on, it might be good to see how and where you can cut back so that you're less overwhelmed, because that will allow some of this healing and some of this new growth to come in, and some of this, and it will allow there to be time to meet someone if you're looking for someone for love as well, and more time to spend with your partner or partners if you have them. So it is very important to cleanse away anything which is clogging things up, whatever that means for you. And here with Wise Leader, you're a beacon for others. I take it that in your life, you have people who look up to you, whether you know it or not. There are a lot of people in your life that look up to you and who see you as an inspiration. And that's beautiful. And I think when this is giving you advice, it's kind of to remember that, right? Like, it's not to like pressure you to be perfect or anything, because no leader should be trying to appear perfect all the time. People think that like, oh, I have to be this rock that has no emotion and no, no weakness, quote unquote. But in reality, to be a wise leader, wisdom comes from acknowledging both the mind and the emotions and using them in harmony. And I think you know that, because people see that in you, and that's inspiration to them. And I think that you continuing to show that on the outside, like, these are some of your flags here, right? Like your ability to do that. And I think you showing that externally, like letting that shine and not hiding that, right, side of you, will help to display how wonderful you are. And if you're looking for someone, will help attract this person, will also help bond you to the people that are in your life, and will also help you love yourself more. And so that is what I have for you, Pile 1. It's a very powerful, powerful reading, so I'm really excited for you. And thank you for being here with us today. I hope you have a wonderful season, and we will see you in our next reading. Hi there, Pile 2, who picked the Carnelian, or what I think is Carnelian anyway. This is your reading. So how this is going to work is we're going to put all these cards down, and then I will pull the reading from them. So we're going to find out what is growing for you this coming season between Ostara and Beltane. So, for the main theme of what's growing for you, we have confidence. Oh, that's lovely. By earth and air, water and fire, let my confidence take light, burn higher. Alright, now for what is in the light for you. Now, before I put these down, what I mean by light and darkness, or light and shadow, isn't the same thing as good and evil, or right and wrong, or good and bad. It is about what is out in the open when it comes to light, what is readily known, what is more acceptable to us, those sorts of things, whereas what is in the shadow and what is in the darkness is more about what is hidden from us, what is under the surface, and what we might not accept as much if we knew. So those sorts of things aren't necessarily good or evil or good or bad. So keep that in mind throughout this reading. So what's in the light for you is Seven of Stones. The Storyteller, the Hermit. And the Hierophant, the Divine Child. Now, for what is in the shadow for you, we have Page of Cups. Okay. The Page of Wands, 2 pages. And the World. Okay. And then these will be for your advice, but we'll get these at the end. So, what's growing for you this coming season between Ostara and Beltane is your confidence, your sense of self-worth, your knowledge that you have value that goes beyond anything material, anything that is for other people. It's just within yourself. And you'll be able to connect with that sense of self more. I'm feeling like chakras here, the sacral and the solar plexus specifically. So if you work with chakras, you may want to think about working with these 2 chakras in particular this upcoming season. But overall, your growth is going to be in confidence. So you're going to be gaining more and more confidence as the season progresses. So let's see more about that with what's in the light and shadow for you here. So what's going to be more out in the open, more obvious, and more acceptable, more out in the light for you. Starting with the Seven of Stones. Now normally in Rider-Waite style decks, this is about putting an effort and waiting for results. But I'm seeing something a little different here. This is somebody who is retreating from the world. And I see that also with the Hermit. These link together here. But not in a way that's like hiding, right? But in a way that's peaceful. Like in a way that allows you time to sit with your feelings and really go within. Like with this Hermit here too, like I can't help but want to read these together. And all 3 of these really, but it feels like what's going to be most obvious is that it's time for going within. It is time for paying attention to yourself. And it's obvious how that relates to one's confidence. If you've been giving too much of your energy away to other people, there's dogs barking in the background. Dogs are normally about loyalty and friendship when I think of them. Apologies if it's bothersome, but the dogs maybe indicate that maybe there's some friends surrounding you who might not have your best interests at heart, or even if they do, they might be very, well-meaning friends, but they're still taking more of your energy than they're giving back, whether intentionally or not. And I feel like this isn't anybody who is super, like, I'm not getting that this is anyone in your circle who is, like, super close, but just, like, maybe tangential friends, like friends that are kind of on the outskirts of your circle. But I am getting that maybe it's even people that, like, work with you or who are customers at places you work, things like that. that, you may be feeling drained. And so it is kind of time it is time for you to, if you can manage it at all, and I think that you can, or these messages wouldn't be coming to you. Even if it's just a little bit, find time to spend more with yourself, right? Like if you come home at night, like say even if you're somebody who works like 16-hour shifts, like if you come home at night or like before you go in the morning, if you have like a half an hour where you normally like watch TV or something, I would spend at least some of that time sitting with yourself and your emotions instead, and like thinking about how you feel and like what's in alignment with you and what your higher wisdom has to say. That's going to be very important for you. With this Hierophant, in combination with all of these, I'm seeing that, because the Hierophant in most decks is a teacher, a wise teacher, and usually portrayed as, or sometimes an oppressor. Though in this case, you have a baby here, a baby being creative with a little paint thingy and a lot of butterflies symbolizing transformation around. What this Hierophant is here to teach is about connection to that inner child and that inner light. What makes you feel at play and light and beautiful and like the world is colorful. Because that's going to be what helps you transform here, what brings you more confidence too, is being able to connect with that inner child. And I think when you're going within, what you are connecting within yourself is that inner child. And you're going to be finding out what they really need. Because if you give your inner child what they really need, and you protect it and show it that you can be safe, by giving it what it needs to flourish and be happy and thrive, then your inner child will trust you, and that confidence will grow exponentially. And so I think when you're going within, this is going to be an important mission for you, and I think that's going to be obvious to you, because this is all in the light. Now, let's go over here to what's in the shadow. Now, this is stuff that isn't going to be as obvious. We have pages, and I see these as other people here. So I think most of you, they're other people. For some of you, these are aspects of self. For systems watching this, these could also be other members of your system. What I do see is that there are people who are not as mature as you, maybe, whether they're well-meaning or not. And they have offerings for you. They are coming in with gifts. Now, this could be physical gifts, but these also could be, gifts of connection. Like in the Page of Cups, this might be gift of a connection. Normally that's with the Knight, but here it's just like they're both reaching forward with these things. I just can't help but feel that. That this could be an offer for connection, or it could be an offer for, I'm hearing for some of you, if any of you have struggled with addiction, this is a very serious thing, and it is not your fault. This is not we do not believe here that addiction makes you a bad person. That makes you someone who needs healing. And if you have had addiction in your past, there may be someone who comes in, or a situation in your life, but most likely a someone who might put you in a situation that would trigger you or tempt you towards what you were addicted to. So, but this confidence card, I'm seeing like this back is turned. I think you will definitely have the strength to turn your back on this, because you know it's not healthy for you. You know it has hurt your life in the past. And so when confronted with this, now we'll get more advice for you in a bit, but when confronted with this, just remember your strength. Remember your inner child is still with you. And would you really want to do that to a child, to child you? And I think that will help you in these situations. Like remembering your own strength and the needs of your inner child will help you through those situations. For those of you who haven't had to deal with anything like that, what I am also getting is these could be, yeah, I'm getting that some of you, these are ideas. Like things that, now these could be good things, right? Like good ideas. And so for a select few of you, or maybe for a lot of you actually, in addition to these messages, even if you had the previous one, I think that keep your mind open for ideas, particularly when you're focusing on your emotions, right? When you are taking those times to look within, like they're hidden from you right now, but when you do these things, they'll be brought to light. So that light bulb will come on. So pay attention to those ideas and do whatever you need to do to write them down or keep track of them, because they'll be very helpful for you in gaining this confidence, and they will give you more of that. So that will be a good way that can manifest. But again, I do see that for some of you, so back to the pages, the people coming in this case, someone you might not see involved in this might be coming in to offer some sort of passion. Now this could be like, if this is a potential interest, it could be some sort of intimate passion, or it could be something where it's just a new spark or a new idea. Now, whether or not that's a good thing for you and your life depends on your situation and what your inner child needs during this time, and that will require that reflection. So whether or not you accept these gifts will depend on you and your needs. But something will come in, whether it is through this reflection or through another person, that will inspire you to create in some way. And we have this theme of creativity too. So some of you may be artists or creatives in some fashion. And through this creativity, you will also find more confidence. So yeah, this idea of, but these things may be hidden from you right now. This is why they're in the shadows. Is these things will not be obvious. They won't be, the first day you start doing this, it's not necessarily going to be apparent, but it will come to you. And also in the shadow is this world. So the world is completion, it's wholeness. And I think, I just heard this very clear message. You are complete. There's nothing incomplete about you. You don't need, like these gifts might come in, and they might be nice if you want to accept them, but you don't need them to be complete. You are complete in who you are right now. You are whole. Even if it doesn't feel that way a lot, you are. And I think that will be something that the further you go in the depth of your reflection and search for your inner wisdom, like if you meditate, definitely do that, if not just sitting with it, but the further you go in that search, the more you will see that you are complete, and that will give you this confidence. So let's get into your advice. I know I've already given a lot, but let's get some more. Surrendering to the journey, release control. Oh, lovely. And begin now. Take your first step. All right. So even if, I'm not sure if this will be out right before Ostara or not, but even if it's not yet Ostara when you watch this, start soon with this. Like, as soon as you can. Like, if you have 10 minutes, start. Like, this is, it's just waiting for you. And this journey, it's important not to try to hold on to any expectations of how it should be, or how you think the progression of it works normally, or whatever. This is about letting your inner wisdom, your inner child, guide you without feeling the need to take control of them. Maybe you've had a lot of situations where people have tried to control you and your light, and that's made you feel like you need to have some sort of control. But in this case, when you're doing this, try to practice saying, I don't need to control this. My inner wisdom will guide me. What do you need, inner child? How can I help you? And release control. Let it be what it is, even if it's a little hard to understand. Just let it be what it is, and keep moving forward. So that's what I have for you, and I really wish you all the best with this growth, Pile 2. Thank you for joining us here today, and we will see you in our next reading. Hi there, Pile 3. For those of you who chose the Amber, this is going to be your reading. So, how this is going to work is we're going to lay out the cards and then we'll get into your messages. So, first, and we're going to find out today what is growing for you in this coming season from Ostara up until Beltane. So, let's get into that. For the main theme of this will be safe travel. Keep me safe and let me roam, far away but bring me home. Lovely. Alright. Now, for you, what's in the light for you. Now what I mean by in the light and in the shadow, when I talk about light and shadow, is that what's in the light for you isn't necessarily, like, it's not good or evil, it's not bad, it's not anything moral in this sense. This has to do with what's in the light is more to do with what's in the open, what's easily available, what you can see, and what is most acceptable to us. So when it's in the shadow, conversely, has more to do with what is hidden, what is under the surface, what is unknown to us, and what is less acceptable to our minds if we were to know about it. So keep that in mind throughout the reading. So what's in the light for you is 3 of Stones. Okay. The Pilgrim, Page of Scrolls, and the 3 of Scrolls. Okay. And then, for what's in the shadow, we have the 7 of Cups. Alright. The 9 of Pentacles. And the Star. Okay. And then we have these cards for advice for you, but we will get into that at the end. So, for this major theme, for safe travel, right? We have... Now this could be, like, if you do travel a lot, whether that be long distances, like for business, like across states or countries, or whether that be shorter distances, like back and forth to work every day, this may very well be growth in the area of your ability to travel. So this may be a new travel method, like you may be able to get a new vehicle if you've been looking for a new vehicle, or there may be a new travel program that you come across or something along those lines. But I think it'll be more than that because this is growth over a long period of time. Travel in general, or your progression along your path is going to be safer. And I think, like, I'm getting for a lot of you, you're not in the most safe situations right now. For those of you who are in unsafe situations right now, whether that be living situations, work situations, or anything of that kind. This is what's growing for you this month, is your safety in these environments, or your ability to move out of these environments, which will be a little different for different people, but these cards will also get more into it, so it may be more specific. For those of you who your home life is safe and your work environment is safe and all these things are technically safe, what's going to be improving for you here, what's going to be growing for you, is your ability to create safety for the people in your life. Like if you already have an abundance of safety, this is helping you to grow being a safe presence for not just the other people in your life, but for your path along your life, right? So for, and for many of you, it is about your path through your life. So if you're on a very particular spiritual path that you've been very focused on, or a very specific career path, or a very specific healing path, or something along those lines that you have been dedicating yourself to, the growth will be in the safety of those areas and in the steady progression of those areas. It will be continually heading in the right direction. And that will grow more and more over the course of this season. So let's get into more details, because it may be more specific than this. For the Three of Stones, Pilgrim and travel here, it's kind of interesting. Three of Stones. It's also about collaboration. So for many of you, you are in business or travel to work or travel for work. And if that's you, like, even if it's just you go back and forth to work, right? You are going to be seeing a lot of more obvious growth in your collaboration with other people that you work with or that you're in school with, and in your travels between these places, and in your travels within these places. So as you progress along your career path or your job, or as you progress through your schooling, this will become easier and safer. Your ability to share and learn and teach will become steadier and will grow. And I'm also seeing here, this Three of Scrolls is a little bit of a contrast, because this card indicates pain. And it doesn't necessarily, so this is a minor arcana. So this is either about past pain that is not presently causing any serious upheaval, but is, left scars, right? Or it is about healing from pain. But I see that there will be a safer exploration of that. Like if you, during this season, if you're working on a healing journey, it'll be a much safer time to really go in deep with that. It'll also be a safer time to reach out to those you trust or to experts in whatever you're dealing with. Yeah, I see that for a lot of you, you're students. For those of you who are students or who want to be students, this will get easier this coming season for you. Growth and safety also indicates ease, because the more safe we are, the more easy things feel. So it will get easier. If you're stressed, if you're in pain, if you're having a hard time, this will lessen. You will feel better through the course of this season. This will be the most obvious things. And I feel like these are things that are more going to happen for you rather than things that you're going to have to actively do as much. You may want to be just open to working with other people or talking to other people about, projects, or working with other people on projects. You may be also advised to seek out experts in your field or in your goals, and to work with people who are at the same learning level as you or at the same stage in your progression along your path or on your journey. So that might be some advice here for you. So what's in the shadow for you? Let's look at this. We have the Seven of Cups. So first of all, there are options available to you that you have that you might not be aware of right now. Because the Seven of Cups talks about options and about having different things we can choose between that all have potential and all look good, some of which may be illusory, some of which may not all be good in the long run, right? And that's, where your discernment and will come in. But there are more options than you think. So if you feel stuck, like say you're in school and you think you have to take certain classes or like study with certain people, or like you have to be in this stuck situation that you're in your classes, however that works, there may be an option you're not considering. You may be able to talk to someone about changing the situation. There may be a department for that or something. And likewise, if this is a job and you feel like it's not going anywhere, or you're stuck in it, or it's hurting in some way, there's more options for work than you're thinking of. I'm getting this is something to do with the material world, something to do with the mind, because there's no cups in this side. And this has to do with the journey, right? So like something that you're doing, something that you're embarking on. And so I'm getting this has to do with something, either healing-wise, mental, mind-wise, or something to do with the material plane, like job or school. But whatever you're feeling this way in, these travels that you're undergoing, there's more options than you think to consider here. And so I would look at the pros and cons of each of these options. And if you don't know, doing some research might be in order. As for this Nine of Pentacles, I'm also seeing, because this is in the shadow here, so things you're not necessarily aware of, there's also more resources than you think. And I'm getting that this might be combined. That resources might be the options that are being missed. There might be resources, like, if you are, okay, some of you are worried about being homeless or are homeless. If you are unhoused right now, or you are worried that you might be, there are resources you might not have considered. Look into your local food banks, look into your city's local programs, look into anything that could save you time or money, or could just give you that little extra leg up. Because there might be programs in place, there might be places that can help you find affordable housing, there might be places that can help you seek out other people here, because there's resources for you. And there's hope too. This is very important, there's hope. So this section, what you're not seeing is there are options available to you that will make things safer for you as you progress along your path, that will increase this growth in your safety and your ease of going along this path that you're on or in your travels. And these resources are going to be something that you can be able to discover during this season between Ostara and Beltane if you look for them. Like really, there's more abundance than you know available to you. Whether that be material abundance, which I think in most cases it is here, or some other form. There is hope. The star is all about hope. It's also about receiving and letting that flow into the world. So you have the chance to receive something. I think that if you look for these options, you will have the opportunity to receive something that you need, or something that will help make these things safer and make these things easier. Now, if this is school or work, this may be talking to someone higher up or someone in your department about resources that might help you. Like if you're struggling, if you're overloaded, they might know additional resources that you aren't aware of that will make things safer and easier for you. This could also be something like accommodations. If you are in need of accommodations, this is a good time during this season to start seeking them. because there are more that you don't know about yet. And so I'm going to get some advice for you here with these cards. Hopefully they can tell you a little bit about how to do that. So we have answering the call. The time is now. Okay, so even if you're watching this before Ostara, but whenever you are, this is when you want to start looking for this or talking to people about it. Whoever you think would have power over whatever resources it is you need, like whether that's, looking into these programs or looking into or talking to higher ups or experts or anything like that, or doing research on different organizations or anything like that. Start doing that today if possible. If you're like working literally all day, start tomorrow, right? This is one of your advices. Like, really start looking for this, because this is available, and you can find it as soon as you're ready. But you might not want to wait, just in case the window closes. So narrow pathway, tread thoughtfully. Yes, so there is a narrow window. I was just thinking of the pathway closing too. You're going to want to start looking for this soon, like in the earlier parts of the season. Don't put it off. Don't put it out until Beltane, right? You're going to want to start doing this soon, like really start looking for these resources, because they will be there for you, but there is a narrow window of when they are there. And I think that it's going to be a little outside your comfort zone. I can tell that. But I think that it'll really reward you with this growth if you can manage to do so. And just, if you feel a bit clouded for whatever reason, take a step outside if you can. Just take a few deep breaths of the air and connect with nature, even if it's just like on your front step to the sky, because that will help clear your mind and bring you a little bit of focus, so you can and help you reset if you're overwhelmed. So that's what I'm seeing for you, pile 3. I really wish you good luck with this. This is a really important thing, I think, for you, and I think it's going to be very helpful for you in your path, and will make things a lot safer and easier for you. And so I wish you luck on all of that, and good fortune. You got this. There's more out there than you think. Thank you for joining us for this reading, and we will see you in our next one. Hi there, pile 4. For those of you who chose the Lapis Lazuli, this is going to be your reading. So, how this is going to work is we're going to lay out the cards, and then we're going to get you your messages. Now, I will refer to the concepts of light and darkness during this reading, but I do not mean good and evil. I do not mean right or wrong. I mean, in the light is that which we can see, that which we understand, and is readily known to us, which is just in the sunlight. You can see it. It's what's more acceptable to us as well. Whereas what's in the shadow is that which is more unknown, more under the surface, more hidden from us, or that which we might not find as acceptable. So keep that in mind if you can throughout the reading. So first, for the main theme of what's growing for you, we have fertility. Now don't worry, if you're not looking to have children, it doesn't necessarily mean children, but we'll get to that. Let all take root, seed, and sprout. Let new life be all about. Alright, that's lovely. So, for what's in the light regarding this new growth, we have the 2 of stones. Okay. We have Papa Legba, strength. And we have the Muse, Queen of Spirals, Beautiful. And for what's in the shadow for you, we have the Ace of Cups. We have Strength. And the Two of Cups. Interesting. Okay. And these are going to be for your advice, but we'll get these at the end. Alright. So, pile 4. What's growing for you? Now, for those of you who are looking to have children, this is only for those who are trying, it is a very good season for you to start a new family. So if you are trying to create a new life, this will be growing for you. A literal child will be growing for you, if that's something you're seeking. If that is not something you're seeking, I would recommend using extra protection if you engage in anything this coming season, just to be safe. But that doesn't mean it's necessarily going to happen. Just be careful. But what is going to be growing for you, for those of you not looking to have children, is your creations, your creativity, what you bring into the world. And we have this muse here, which combines with that, which we'll get to. But if you are an artist or a creative in any sense, whether, whatever, if you're bringing anything new into the world, this is going to be growing for you a lot this coming season between Ostara and Beltane. So let's get into the details of what all this is looking like with what's in the light and what's in the shadow for you here. So for what's in the light, we'll start here with this Two of Stones. Now, in most Rider-Waite themed decks, the Two of Stones has a lot to do with balancing things and keeping, or like the Two of Pentacles, right? Like, it has a lot to do with like keeping things in balance and putting up a balancing act, keep juggling a lot of things at once. But this is not what I'm getting from this card. There is an aspect of balance to it, but I think it is more cautious steps forward. In the sense that there is this sort of gap between where you are now and where you want to be with what you are creating, whether that be a child or a creative pursuit. And this gap requires a bit of caution in order to cross it. And again, this is in the light, so this is probably obvious to you. So this is just making you aware that, and this might be just confirmation for you if you already know that. And if not, this will become apparent what that gap is. But it's not that you can't cross it. It's just that a bit of precision and careful timing might be needed to do so. But what's needed for that will be pretty obvious during the course of this season. This is in the light for you. With Baba Legba, Strength. Now, from what I understand now, I am not a part of this community, and I cannot really speak on Voodoo or on the Loa, but as far as I understand, Baba Legba is a Loa who is associated with Crossroads, and as such, this is representing an important threshold or crossroads for you. Now, if you are a part of the communities that this is a closed practice, Voodoo, but if you are a part of that closed practice, right, already, then this might be an indication to work with Baba Legba. If you are not a part of that closed practice, please stay out of it unless you are invited. That's, we don't want to appropriate anything here. And, however, for everyone else, right, who isn't a part of that, in general, this strength that you have, right, this mastery of your inner self, this isn't necessarily physical strength, it usually isn't. And you also have the strength card over here, I just noticed that. It's both in the light and the shadow. Okay, this is really cool. Okay, I need to comment on this real quick. So we're going to tackle these together, because there's strength you can see and there's strength you cannot right now. Or when during this cycle, it's going to be more obvious strength and more less obvious strength. And I think, judging by these cards, your projective energy, the energy that you put out into the world, right? Your strength of will, as far as your ability to create, your ability to output, your ability to bring things in, and that fire of creation. You have that strength, and you will see that strength, and you will know that strength. It's going to be obvious to you. The strength that you might be less aware of is your inner strength, the strength of character, the strength. I don't want to say over yourself, because, you know, in most strength cards you see someone taming a lion, but here this character is one with the lion. They are expressing the lion through themselves, and I think that this is internal, the internal strength you have that might not be as apparent to you. Like, outwardly you might be aware, like, yeah, I can do a lot of things, but inwardly I don't feel very strong. And I think that you're going to be discovering, or you have the opportunity to discover this inner strength that you might not have been aware was there, this more receptive strength, the strength that's needed to receive positive emotions, to receive good experiences of life, and that kind of strength to allow things to happen for us too, instead of just giving to others. And I think that's going to be very important. And these cups around it. Okay, let's tone it back here. I'm getting carried away. Happens when I channel sometimes. Back to what's in the light for you right now. This strength thing is important though, but what's in the light for you here, also with this muse, what you're creating, you know, what you want to create, I think you're already aware of, right? Whether that's a life or a creative endeavor or a new business or anything of that kind, you already have this in mind of what you're trying to create for yourself and for your life. And this is going to be very obvious, and your passion and drive for that with this Queen of Spirals is going to be very obvious. You'll have a lot of inspiration for this. It will be flowing for you. It will be inflamed for you, this inspiration and this passion for what you're creating. So this will be very apparent for you as this season progresses. Now back over here into the shadow, we have this Ace of Cups and this Two of Cups, and this is a progression. So I think that there will be a sequence of things happening as this growth takes hold throughout this season. And I think at first what's going to be happening here, because the first thing that's been hidden from you is how much emotional strength you have, right? Because we're talking about this. You have so much emotional strength. And I think that there are others in your life, maybe one person, maybe several people, who want to give you love and emotional well-being, whether these be friends, partners, colleagues, family members. There's people around you, even if you don't know anybody, like you're on the internet all the time and you're kind of hermited at home, and you don't really know how to connect with other people, so it might be more difficult for you. There are still people that have encountered you who want to give you kindness, affection, care, and who mean well for you. And I think, and this can also be like discovering that you mean well for you too. It can also be spirit guides or the like. If you work with spirits, then, you know, like, this is, your spirit guides can also be sources of emotional health and fulfillment too, as they help to fill this cup with well-being. And the lotus here has to take so much to get to where it is. It has to get through all this muck and grow through all this and push its way forward until it can bloom. And I think that that a lot has had to happen to get you to see that you can receive too, that you don't just have to give, you can receive. love, affection, care. And I think when this starts to grow for you as your creative endeavors grow, you're going to be seeing more of this coming in, and the opportunity will be there for you to accept it or not. Now, this is a choice. You don't have to accept anything that comes in. You have total control over yourself, your life, and if you want to set boundaries and you want to focus on just you and it makes you happy and you're not unhappy with that, do you. But if you want this, right, if this is coming in for you and people want to give you care or affection or friendship or what have you, or just appreciation, guidance, help, and you want to accept it, then this opens up for you here. Two of Cups. Sharing, connection with others, being happy with other people or with someone else. This can be relationship-wise, although for many this can also be friends or colleagues or new connections that, like, reinvigorate ones with family members or things like that. But there will be more connection energy and more harmony between you and other people that come from this. If you are trying to start a family, this is, if you are particularly trying to start a family, like you're trying to have a child, or if you're trying to adopt new pets, which are also family, this is especially important with connections with others, right? It's not just your own personal creative pursuit, but also with others, collaboration. And so if you're creating a child with someone or adopting a child with someone or a group of people, then be open to accepting their help, their appreciation, their love, their care, because they want to help you. They mean well for you. They don't want to get in your way. They want to give you help. They want to love you in the ways that they can in their situations. And so if you're working with someone who's starting a family or expanding your family, or you're working with someone, even if you are just creating something else, right? Like, even if you are creating something else, it may be that you want to ask for help or accept help if somebody's offering it to you, because that will show you that you do have the power and the strength to allow help to your life, and will allow you to share that back and forth with someone instead of just giving. The rainbow will go both ways. So let's get into your advice now. So we have Journey by Moonlight, Believe in Magic, lovely. And Protected by Angels, you are cherished by the angels. Yeah, remember what I was saying about spirit guides? If any of you work with angels, or any spirit guides for that matters, if you don't work with angels, but especially if you work with angels, they are angels if you do. But your spirit guides are watching out for you and are definitely contributing to this fertility that's growing. And they want to offer you help as well. Even if others are also offering you help, your spirit guides definitely want to help you. If, for those of you who are witches or pagans, or who work with some sort of prayer magic or do some sort of manifestation work, I would do some sort of workings with your spirit guides or yourself to help bring this fertile period about, so that you can flourish even more in your work that you're doing, and believe in the impossible. Like, things may come to you that you weren't even expecting, right? Like, if someone says, here, let me help you with this, you might think, oh, I don't know how they could possibly help. But maybe they really know a different way that you didn't think of. Or, maybe your manifestations will come in a way that you weren't expecting. So just be open to that. For those of you who don't work with those things, what I am seeing is that you are safe during this period of time. That you will have things happening for you that will be like magic. That they will come in ways that feel spontaneous and really amazing, and that will show you your strength in ways you never could have thought, and connect you to yourself and others. And all of that will come together to help this grow into the best version of itself it can be, into the healthiest and most beautiful. So that's what I have for you, pile 4. This is a beautiful reading. I'm very excited for you. And thank you for joining us here. I hope you have a wonderful season, and we will see you in our next reading.